Hey guys, welcome to the stream. We're back with View Sports Talk with our friend Kyle.
What's up, guys?
If you guys are in the chat, drop a like on the video and let us know you're here. We'll be starting in about 5 minutes.
Mystic Mac? Like, is that really his name?
Yeah, because he said he was predicting the future.
Oh, God.
Oh, my goodness.
Connor.
Did he picture that he was going to
Break his leg?
break his ankle?
Yeah, right? The funniest part was when he's on the floor, he's talking, and Joe Rogan comes and sits down next to him to give him the interview.
Yo, when your leg is broken is probably the worst time to be
I broke
I
broke my leg when I was 5.
Did he say stupid stuff when that was going on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was still shit talking.
He should be excused from some of that, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a broken leg and you're getting interviewed. Like, leave me alone.
Exactly.
He reverted to like full blown Irish. Like a lot of people was having trouble. Like I needed subtitles for it. Like he went full Irishman.
Yep.
I mean, I can't blame him. I mean, like that's gotta hurt. Your foot's not supposed to touch the inside of your calf.
No.
Woo, baby.
Hey, save it for the show.
Sure.
Excuse me.
Let's see who else is here. Leon. Kyle.
Oh, Chapman, you can't even throw the ball to first base, bro. Jesus Christ.
Man. If the Yankees don't do something quick with the Red Sox, they're going to be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, no, it's done. They're done, honestly. As much as I don't want to admit it, at this point, they're done. They're 9 games back with all these guys going on COVID. Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. Be sellers, man. Just sell.
Hey.
We need some bullpen help, so
they need to rebuild,
guys,
man.
Right?
They just need to rebuild. They need to rebuild.
But they're stuck with that. First of all, they're stuck with this one with Stanton because nobody's taking that contract ever.
Why wouldn't someone want a guy who bats 220, bashes 36 home runs, and
that's what baseball is now, right?
And drives in 41 runs.
Yeah.
For the next 12 years.
Yeah.
The dude is like a powerhouse, though. I mean, listen, man, that guy connects with the ball.
Oh no, it's out of there. But
he's always hurt though.
Yeah. And he gets like freak injury. I mean, little like
some of those dudes that are ultra lean, like muscular or not, ultra lean.
Yeah.
Like it seems like they just are more injury prone.
Yeah.
Leon, you're safe.
What do you mean?
You're not very injury prone because you're not lean. Like
I'm not lean either. I've never had any injuries.
I'm built like Pablo Sandoval.
Kung Fu Panda.
Dude, I
tore
my ACL getting out of bed.
No way. I mean.
What's up, Jason Hill? Rice, what's up, man? Got some folks join us. We got the real sports fans in here tonight.
That's right.
This may be our lightest crowd ever.
It might be.
It's okay.
Is it too late?
I think the times we might have to look at the times a little bit. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we might want to start this. Might want to do this at 8 and then Hat Club afterwards.
It's possible.
If that's possible for you guys, because I think it's probably getting a little bit late for those on the East Coast. What's up, McNutt? You guys ready to get started?
Sure, why not, man?
Let's do it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Vault. We're back with some sports talk. We got Leon, Jason, and Pierre in the house, and we got Kyle back. Pretty much a regular panelist for sports talk.
No, he's going to be a regular on the show.
Yeah.
He's going to be on all of these.
So we're back. The four horsemen.
Unless he like leaves because you're not being very gracious to our guest. Leon.
He's not even a guest. He's a co-host.
He's a co-host. Yeah.
It's cool. It's cool.
There
Just happy to be here.
3-2 Swinging Fame. Subscribe to this podcast. But yeah, we're here to talk sports. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Pierre?
I'm extremely excited for this episode. There's a lot of stuff going on. And I just want to test Leon's resolve today because I'm going to attack him multiple times throughout this.
Look forward to it.
You know, sometimes, every now and then, you know, Jason knows, like, and all of this is just like frat boy kind of, you know, busting chops type stuff. I tend, you know, there was a while I went through a Jason phase. That phase is over.
Is it?
It's Leon's turn.
It's Leon's turn.
Great.
Oh, fucking time. It's been a year and a half.
So, I don't know. When I get the busting chops, Leon, you're going to be my default for a little while.
All right. Let's go.
Good. That's good.
Let's go.
You know what's pissing me off about Leon today? You guys want to know?
What's that?
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian.
I mean, that's
And he was never more Canadian than earlier today when we were talking about cereals. He's like, you know, he said something about our corn pops are flat.
They are flat.
What's the difference?
They're
Obviously,
flat.
I've never tasted the Canadian ones, so
I'll bring some.
So they got less air up there in Canada.
Okay.
No, we got more air. The air goes into the corn pops.
Higher latitude, so the pops expand more.
Expand more.
Yeah.
You guys got like these weird flat shaped corn pops. We got the real stuff.
You got
our pops are bigger than yours. Get out of here, Canada.
No, I'm bringing you some.
Well, why don't we get into the real meat and potatoes here? What do you guys say?
Let's
do it. All right. So this guy, Leon's little man crush now. This is his new man crush. Leon is
this his replacement for Kyle Lowry?
This is his baseball version of
Kyle Lowry.
Leon is absolutely in love with this young man. I mean, I don't.
Great ball player.
I'll tell you what. I'm in chats with Leon. I'm in a Views from the Vault chat. I'm in multiple chats with him. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of disgusted at how much you love this guy. It is like he'll interject into any conversation, Vlad, his statistics, his age.
He's coming for that Triple Crown, man.
He's not getting the Triple Crown.
Yeah, he wanted us to do a Triple Crown assessment back in April.
That's what
Triple Crown watch.
You know what though? I'm looking at Kyle. He's positioning this to me, and I'm like, this fucking guy. He's like, he just wants this. I get it. Leon's like in love with him, but I mean, this is like beyond normal.
Yeah.
Even this topic.
Exactly.
Let's be clear here. Let's be clear. This topic itself is marginal. So, of all the athletes in the major sports that we could talk about, right? We've managed on our fourth show to talk about this guy 50% of the time.
Yeah, it's like his batting average.
That's maybe his on base percentage,
but historically, the day after the MLB All Star game, it's usually pretty flat for sports. So I will admit that. All right. So NBA playoffs.
I think I'd rather talk about soccer.
Yeah, we had Copa America going on Wednesday.
We all know how much I hate soccer.
We had the Euro Championship.
Yeah, I want to talk about soccer or football, as they call it.
Yeah, but which topic would have gotten dropped if that were the case?
No, I'm fine with.
No, if we were going to talk about soccer, Leon Weber, it's your turn. I want to know which topic you would have dropped in order to talk about the Euro Soccer League or whatever the hell it is.
Oh, maybe this one.
No.
You wouldn't have dropped this one.
Well, there's not much to talk about. I mean, he won the MVP. He's a great player. He's coming back July 29th. Blue Jays have got federal approval to come home.
Okay.
So that's good.
All right, well, let's talk about the youngest All-Star game MVP ever with a huge-ass exclamation mark.
We got 10 games versus the Red Sox coming up in the next 3 weeks, I think. So we got to get that home field advantage.
Home field advantage.
Is it gonna be capacity like 100%?
No, I don't think so.
Probably
They
not.
don't even remember what Toronto's like.
Yeah, they've been gone so long.
It's been so long, right?
They don't even know. They're not going to remember shit. They haven't been there in like a year and a half.
Well, we've never seen Hyun-Jin Ryu play in person.
That's right.
Do you think
a lot of these pending free agents don't know what it's like.
They'll actually go back, or they'll just say, "No, we're good. We'll stay here in Buffalo."
Right.
No, I don't think anyone wants to stay.
Hold on. No one wants to stay in Buffalo.
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to stay in Buffalo. Come on now.
Buffalo is like the most depressing place in the United States.
Buffalo, New York.
Oh my God. So much snow and shit and weirdos.
Oh, it's a mess.
All right. So listen, this guy's a talent, man. I mean,
yes.
Leon, what are your thoughts here, Leon? I know it's not a logical place to start with you, but I'd love to hear what your thoughts here are.
I mean, like, everyone wanted to watch the All Star game because it was like the Shohei show, but like there's a lot of storylines coming in, a lot of young players. Tatis is on fire. Acuna unfortunately got injured right before, but I think the game's in a good place right now with a lot of these young fellas here. I think they did a list of top players under 25. I think Vladdy was only 5th, so that kind of shows you what the state of the young players are. Just,
yeah.
Man.
It wasn't a big.
At least Tatis.
Sorry? Yeah, I think it was Tatis.
Soto had to be on there, huh?
Yeah, Soto. I don't even remember. Yeah. I saw Vlad at 5 and I got mad. I stopped watching.
Yeah.
I bet you. Yeah, that's typical, Leon.
Yeah, but the game only ended 5-2. There wasn't a lot of fireworks. You know, there wasn't a lot that happened during the game, but MVP baby, we'll take it. First time ever Blue Jay has ever won All Star Game MVP.
Listen, if this guy can keep his weight under control, he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with for many years. But does he keep his weight under control? I know I'm not saying that to be funny. I really mean it. Like guy, you can tell he has a propensity to put on the pounds. He's got that frame. He's got a Miguel Cabrera type frame to him, which worries me.
Well, they've already moved him over from 3rd to 1st. Yeah. He lost the weight thinking that he can go back to 3rd, but Blue Jays have told him, no, you're staying at 1st. So that is interesting.
I think that's his best spot. I think that's his best spot at 1st. But like you said, Pierre, losing, I mean, obviously last year he struggled, and I think a lot of it had to do with him carrying that extra weight, And he came into this offseason, he lost a lot of weight, and obviously you see how much is helping him this year.
This is a dude that would scare me signing him to a long contract. So let's say he has a few monster years. He gets out of, the rookie stuff, the introductory contract's over. They get into a real major contract negotiation. He wants 10 years. I ain't fucking touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Not a chance.
And because he's too much of a risk. Now, he's uber talented, unbelievable. This is one of the preeminent power hitters in the game at his age. That's crazy, But I would be very worried about signing this guy to a long-term contract.
If you don't,
what do you get for
him? There's that chance he's going to move on to find somebody who will, because somebody will.
Right, I wouldn't be that one.
Yeah, but if you see a lot of these teams that sorry, Pierre, a lot of these teams that they didn't sign these guys to these massive contracts, they ended up doing better without those players. I mean, just look at the history of those.
Look at the Nationals.
Those 10-year contracts. They never work out. Never.
Yeah,
they don't.
I mean, they still got a lot of time. They still got a lot of time to figure it out. He's only his 3rd year.
He's only 22, right?
Yeah, he's only his 3rd year, so he's got some time to figure it out.
Yeah.
22.
No, I'm not talking about figuring it out, man. Listen, here's what I fear with players that struggle with their weight, even early on. Okay, so he did struggle with his weight. This isn't something I'm making up. He struggled with his weight, right?
He's always been a big dude.
So Miguel Cabrera, very similar. I mean, Pujols to a degree struggled with his weight later, right? Yep. I mean,
especially later on, yeah.
You get someone who gets that big contract. All of a sudden, there's not as much incentive when someone who has a hard time controlling their weight. There's not as much incentive to keep that weight under control.
Well, if they're staring at the end of $250 million guaranteed or whatever.
At the end of that, oh my God,
it's all guaranteed, baby. They're not taking nothing back.
Right, that's my point. And at the end of a 10-year contract, you're just about done anyway. Like, listen.
He'll be 35.
Yeah. Because usually for a guy his age, by the time he hits free agency, he's about 26, 27.
Mm-hmm.
So you sign after, all the couple of years of arbitration and things like that. So if you were to sign him to a 10-year contract at 27, but he's not going to last till 37.
Mm-mm.
Not being as good as he is at 27, obviously. The age.
This dude's still probably going to hit he has the potential to hit 500 home runs, and he's one of those guys. But he's also one of those guys that, to me, is going to have a more abrupt end to his career if he's not careful when it comes down to the weight piece. That's just my opinion. I watched a lot of baseball. You
think Ryan Howard is like a fair comp?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ryan Howard was a little bit taller than him, though.
Mm-hmm.
A lot taller than him. Ryan Howard.
It was like 6'5".
Yeah, big dude.
Yeah.
I compare him more to Miguel Cabrera.
Okay. Miguel's very similar, right? Started at third, went over to first.
You might. I do like that decision. I do like that decision to put him at first.
To keep him at first. Yeah, definitely.
Because that's where he's going to be.
Yeah.
And eventually, most likely, he's 33, 34 to be a DH.
DH, yep.
How was he at third defensively?
He wasn't bad. He wasn't bad.
Didn't have a lot of range, but it's also when you come back to the Rogers Center too, you don't want your star players to be hopping on that AstroTurf all the time too. That's the big thing.
Yeah, but you also don't want a liability at third.
Yeah.
First base can hide a lot of shit.
Yeah.
First base has hidden a lot of shit over the years, right? Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's that and DH that hides a lot of defensive garbage on your team. But
the thing with the Blue Jays is like all these guys that come over, if they're a little bit older and they have to play long term, they end up wearing down really fast. Jose Reyes, Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys, it's really hard on the body because we're one of the only teams that don't have grass. It's fucked up. So it's a big factor too. So get him off his knees, jumping around.
So when you were asking about comparables, though, Leon, you're asking about comparables like body-wise?
Yeah. Well, to me, like Ryan Howard kind of just fell off a cliff after.
Yeah, quick, exactly. After those monster years.
Yeah. I think when he hit like 30, maybe 33, 34.
He's like a guy, too, that peaked like that came into the MLB like Wade Boggs, like older.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think this is an impressive young man. I don't know if Jason agrees. Jason's.
To me, it depends on when you want to start 10 years.
I'm interacting with the viewers.
If you want to start the 10 years now, I think if you can buy out a couple of years of his free agency, you definitely do it if you're the Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, for sure. You see a lot of teams are doing that now. These young kids that they have on their team, they tend to give them contracts much earlier now. Because some of these kids don't have the money.
It's an investment though, because what they're thinking is pay them now a little bit, show them that we care about them, and then it's the right thing to do. It's almost
for sure.
Tatis, Acuna.
It's also cheaper for the organization.
Yep.
They can sign them on an 8-year deal for much cheaper at 22 than they can for a 10-year deal when they're 25 and have some few All-Star games and MVP voting under their belt.
Yeah, stuff gets real nasty too in arbitration. So
the White Sox did it with their entire starting lineup.
Yeah, arbitration gets nasty because you're basically trying to prove why someone's not worth something. You're showing off their flaws. You're talking. It's.
If you can skip that, just skip it. Pay a little bit extra. Get the guy locked up. Show him you're loyal.
Most industries out there that care about their people do reevaluate what they're getting paid and adjust.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
That's normal practice, and it should happen more often. Just because you can have that cheap-ass contract doesn't mean you should.
Yep.
Yeah. Teams have been burned with it, right? Like Philly with Scott Kingery, right? That's looking like a terrible.
The Red Sox, remember Rusney Castillo, the outfielder from Cuba? They had signed him to like a 6-year, $72 million deal.
And that was after having to pay up just to be able to sign him.
To sign him, exactly. The Braves got out good with Acuna.
But then you got organizations like the Cubs that actually kept like Chris Bryant down in the minor leagues with a fake injury to extend his
service
clock.
time.
Yep, his service time clock.
Yeah, to get an extra year.
Yep.
Ryan was a hard one too because they put billboards up before he even came up to the major leagues. Like everyone knew he was coming.
Yeah.
Right. Just pay the guy. But now
they're going to get rid of him. So
yeah, that whole course kind of broken,
done.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's move to.
We didn't get to talk about the uniforms.
Oh, the uniform's terrible.
God, they were fucking
those
terrible.
I got a different take on it.
You like those?
Oh, I don't like them. I like that they used them.
What do you mean?
Oh, you like that it wasn't all their respective team jerseys, you mean?
I like that they're introducing different concepts and different uniforms and breaking traditions with these uniforms and hats and everything.
No, I do like that too, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that. I don't know if I like the choice of
I'm not necessarily a fan of the uniform, but baseball has the oldest average fan age in all of the major sports, and they need to bring that down. And like it or not,
talk about that now, kind of.
Yeah, on the next topic.
Yeah, you're right though, Jay. I get what you're saying. Make it a little bit younger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Stephen A. Smith, kind of put his foot in his mouth, sharing that he felt the fact that Shohei Ohtani doesn't speak English is bad for baseball. That's what it comes down to. And then he and Max Kellerman go on to have a conversation where they're discussing other stars that they would prefer to have the mic or the spotlight. And interestingly enough, there were 3 white ball players, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
As Leon and I were listening to this together today again. I don't know, man. I'll say this about Stephen A. Smith before I hand it over to you guys. He's the one guy that I think when I mute the TV, I can still hear him. And I mean that. I don't know. I mean, I'll give my take at the end, but I'd love to open it up to you guys. What are your thoughts on Stephen A.'s comments? And do you feel like you can still hear him when you mute the TV?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I turned the TV off and I still hear him. But I mean, the only reason he's on ESPN is to say stupid shit, because it's polarizing. It brings in viewers, whatever. But he crossed the line on this one. Shohei Ohtani is anything but bad for baseball. Everything about him is good for baseball, except for maybe the fact he plays for a West Coast team. But guy throws 102 miles an hour, hits 125 miles an hour, has a smile on his face. You can tell he just loves playing the game of baseball. Who cares what language he talks? You're not talking to him while he's on the field playing anyway. It was an insensitive, ignorant comment by Stephen A. Smith, which we should be used to by now. He's just
he is great for baseball. Obviously, how many times do you see, your star players across all major sports where they tend, like the example, the home run derby. He went out there and performed. Why? For the fans. He knew the fans wanted to go out there and see him perform and do what he do, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's plenty of players that don't go out there and do it for the fans, per se, when it comes to events like that and things like that.
They avoid it.
Yeah, they avoid it. They try to avoid it at all costs, even if. So this guy, he's great for baseball. I mean, look, and he's doing something historical. We've never seen this before. I mean, Babe Ruth is the last one. We haven't seen it before. We never seen anything like this before, where a guy he's out there doing it on both sides of he can pitch, he can hit. So it was not a good thing by Stephen A. saying that at all.
Yeah, this one's kind of missed the mark. And to be fair to Stephen A., he apologized right after. They did a big thing about it and whatever. But, baseball, like he brings up a couple good points, that Jason kind of touched on. Baseball's got to work on getting the younger fans ingratiated with it. And, does it help that he doesn't speak English? Definitely not. But does it matter? Like Mike Trout is electric, and he's been the greatest baseball player for the last probably good part of a decade. I have never even heard him speak. So whether the guy speaks English or not, I don't think it really matters. It's a tough take.
Can I share something just in defense of Stephen A. Smith?
Sure.
Like, I think I don't think it came out in a really good way. I'll say that. But I do think there's value in more young players that can speak directly to the young people out there. I think what I think the bigger issue is more about like not necessarily does he speak English, but are there enough players out there connecting with the youth and making the game cool? And you're not. It's not going to be. It's going to take Shohei Ohtani on the field and doing all the great things he's doing, but it's also going to take a slew of other players that are going to be articulating why the game is cool and connecting with the young folks out there and showing them why baseball is the way to go. Like, listen, the reality is Shohei Ohtani doesn't speak English, right? Is there anything wrong with that? No. But it's not a direct connection to fans verbally is what I'm saying. It's not, I'm not saying that he should, that it's bad for baseball. It's not. It's just not the optimal way to communicate with a fan base.
But yeah. But baseball in general does a terrible job marketing their stars.
Their stars. That I agree with.
Like what Leon said, Mike Trout's been one of the best, most dynamic players for the better part of the last decade. How many commercials do you see him?
Let me ask you a question though.
Yeah.
How do we know that's MLB and not him saying I'd rather not?
I don't know who it is. I just know across the league, you don't see these stars being marketed very well. Whether that's Major League Baseball, whether that's the players union, whether that's the agents in the sport or the teams themselves. I don't know whose fault it is. Yeah. They don't market their young dynamic stars very well. I mean, the All-Star game is the first time I ever heard Fernando Tatis Jr. speak,
right? Yeah.
And that's when they had a microphone on the field.
Yeah.
I mean,
is this a regional
dynamic
is this a regional problem? You think
baseball's
a regional sport. Yeah.
So
it's more so. I mean, like you say, I say it's more regional because teams. Most baseball fans aren't fans of the complete sport as a whole. They're more so fans of just their particular team.
Yes.
Like they're not like you don't see many.
It's not like the NFL where someone on a Sunday you'll put on any game,
any football game. Exactly. Like if you're a Met fan, you're probably watching only Met games. You're not watching Seattle versus Oakland game or anything like that. Like you tend to stick. It's very regional. Baseball is a very regional fan base as far as fans are concerned. So, I mean, it's something where
I feel like it's also a sport where like the individual player almost makes the least amount of impact. I think like for basketball, you can win the ping pong balls and get the first pick, and that changes the whole trajectory of your franchise. Whereas baseball might take you 4 or 5 years before you even see this guy play for your team. They don't even barely televise their draft.
Yeah,
they don't.
Right? They have it during their season.
Yeah.
Right.
They might have it on MLB TV, but I don't know if you watch that because those stars. You don't know who half those kids are because they're all in high school.
Yeah, high school or college. Yeah. Who really?
Or they may not commit or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
Listen, I do think the other thing is like, people want to model, certain players. I mean, but at the end of the day, I do see some comments in there saying that people aren't going to follow what they speak about. I see Jim. I appreciate your opinion, Jim, but in all honesty, it's both. I mean, sometimes hearing something inspirational from one of these players from their mouth could change someone's life. I mean, it's not just what they do on the field.
No.
And I can tell Shohei is a great human being. You can just tell.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is bad for baseball. I'm not saying what Stephen A. Smith is saying. What I'm saying is it's not the optimal way to communicate with a fan base. It's not. There's nothing wrong. It's the reality of it. He deserves everything, every dollar coming his way. He deserves all the accolades, all that stuff. All I'm saying is, I don't believe Stephen A. I can't believe I'm defending him. I just don't think he meant I don't think he meant it that way. I think he was saying it was bad for baseball because it's not a voice. It's not a voice. It's not his voice in what a lot of the folks that are watching ESPN and stuff, it's different, man. The connection's not the same.
You know,
if I spoke Japanese and I could understand every word that was coming out of his mouth, it would be different.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, Ichiro was a huge star, and he hardly spoke any English for the first 5, 6, 7
Allegedly.
years. Allegedly. I mean,
yeah, I get what you mean, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want my thoughts getting twisted here.
Yeah, no.
Shohei Ohtani belongs in that spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to just defend what potentially came out not the way it was meant.
Yeah.
Because we're in this culture now where if you say something and you say the wrong thing, but you intended to say something, I'm not to a certain extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're crucified.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And he may have been forced to apologize. It may not even be what he meant. You know, and I'm not. There's nothing overtly despicable about what he said. He just, you know, it's questionable. You know,
and granted, I don't watch First Take because really I can't stand that show. I don't like the format of it, anything like that. So everything I've seen is just what other media has reported. So chances are all of that was taken out of context. But yeah, I just know it was. I wasn't very thrilled when I saw the comments that he made. But again, I didn't watch the entire segment. So
yeah, I when you listen to it, to me, it feels like he's trying to say what I was describing just now.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And what he's trying to say is those players that do speak English may have a better opportunity to connect with the youth of America. That's what he was trying to get at.
Yeah.
Now, whether you agree with that or not, there is a language barrier. That's a fact.
Yes.
That's a fact. Now, and I don't know, man. To me, Mike Trout's one of those players that deserves a spotlight, but doesn't. It feels like he doesn't want it.
Doesn't want it.
Right. Yeah.
Well, he could have chose to go to a bigger market. He chose to stay.
Right.
So it's kind of like, what the heck? So to me, this is a bigger indictment on the Angels. Like now they have two of the most electric players, and both times it's like, all right, like we can barely even watch these guys. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's not the Angels' fault. I mean, they took a risk on Shohei. You know, Shohei chose them or whatever the hell. But it's just like it just kind of sucks that you see this franchise have all this talent and can't put it together. It's frustrating as a fan of the game to watch it. You know, Shohei's only making like what, $3 million, $4 million a year.
Well, it goes to show you, baseball is the players are fantastic, but there's nothing more important than a general manager,
organization,
and a scouting department.
Yeah,
figuring out how to assemble a team the right way, because this is why you're right. This is why it's different than basketball, man. You could have two outstanding, like two players of their caliber in the NBA. That team's win the championship every single year.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, honestly, I mean, that's the reality.
Like they've tried to throw money, right? Like Pujols got money, Rendon got money, you know, CJ Wilson back in the day.
Well,
but like
Pujols, there's a prime example of a bad contract. I mean, that's you know.
Yeah. Like to their credit, they're trying. I don't want to make it seem like they're not trying. It's just not working.
This is why the Tampa Bay organization is so impressive.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can they are the most frugal shoppers on the face of the earth.
They have to be.
And they put together winner after winner after winner. If they were able to afford Shohei and Mike Trout, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you they would create a championship caliber team for the next 10 years. Because that organization's smart about what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Just plug and play, right? Like,
well, when you're only selling 5,000 tickets a night, you have to be pretty frugal on how you spend your money.
Yeah, that's true.
But it goes to show you can't just throw money at it.
Money around. That doesn't fix everything.
Yeah, how's that work out for the Yankees guys?
It's so but it's so funny, right? Like
not at all.
You'd have to you can either throw a couple $100 million at payroll, or maybe $1 million at just a really strong group
scouting department
that's it. Where would you go? I'd spend that $1 million. And it's working for them.
Yep.
So let's go to the next topic. All right.
Oh baby.
It's tied up.
Now a best of 3.
It is tied up 2-2. It looked like this was going to be it, man. The Suns were just rolling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they won. Now listen, if they win out at home, they still win the series, but right? If they win their last 2 games at home. But this has turned into a series. Kyle, why do you think it's turned into one?
So I think going back to Milwaukee, that definitely helped them going back home, their home crowd being reinvigorated, to play in front of their fans. Chris Middleton's been a big producer for them. He's been a late game scorer for them, crunch time when they need it most. I mean, last game he had 40 points. And obviously Giannis is still doing what he's doing. But I think this is I wouldn't say an indictment, but I think CP3's been struggling as of late. I don't know what it is.
Game 4 was despicable.
It was horrible, his last game. I mean, I don't know. And we know he's kind of the, as far as just the point guard on the floor, he's the one that kind of leads them. Obviously, we know Booker's the guy that's going to take them home. But, I mean, it's interesting. It's 2-2 going back to Phoenix. It's tough. I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, it's a best of 3. But I think Chris Paul has been struggling as of late. Like I said, I don't know if he's injured or what's going on, but he hasn't looked like himself as of late. So that's concerning for Phoenix.
Leon.
Yeah.
Point guard to point fraud. What other storylines do you think are kind of fueling this change in the series? Jason, you want to share?
I got
Jason
2
first.
Yeah, I got 2. Giannis is obviously 100% healthy now. And he is playing like he is the best player in basketball. He's dominating rebounds. He's just owning the Suns in the paint. It's not even close. Oh yeah, that block. Oh yeah, I was just trying to defend the pass and I just shut down the biggest guy on the floor. And then Chris Middleton making shots, just finally making shots. The Eastern Conference Finals, he looked like a bum. Now he looks like a hero.
He's known to be streaky like that.
Yeah. But he's on a good streak right now, especially the last games 3 and 4, and especially down the stretch in the fourth quarter. They can't stop him. And then Chris Paul just leaving the ball on the floor.
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing.
Do you think it has anything to do with him? Because he hasn't really been right since he's come back from COVID. Do you think it has anything to do with that?
Possibility. I mean, I know I had COVID and I know I wasn't right for a few weeks after that, and I wasn't playing sports, so I could only imagine.
But I don't think he had COVID. I think he just.
I think it was just
protocol.
like in protocol. Yeah, protocol, right?
He didn't test positive. Didn't he test positive?
I don't think it ever came out.
No, I think you had me think about that earlier, Leon. I don't think he did. I think
he came in contact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
So they had to basically kind of
quarantine.
Yeah.
But he hasn't been right since he's been off. The 2 games they won without him, campaign looked great. Came back, kind of let the Clippers back into the series.
The first 2 games of this series, he's looked awesome.
Yeah.
But the last 2 games, especially game 4, especially the second half of game 4, he looked like he didn't even belong out there.
Yeah, and if they lose this series, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they lose this series, you're going to look to these poor performances from Chris Paul.
Yep.
You have to.
It's funny how quick this can turn, right?
Yep. Just last week, everybody was saying that Milwaukee was
wrap
done.
it up, pack it in.
Yeah.
I mean, Milwaukee with a hobbled Giannis has no chance.
For sure.
Right?
A hobbled Giannis, even with Middleton on fire, it's not going to happen. But I think the rest of this series is really dependent on 2 things, and it's what Middleton brings, and it's what Chris Paul brings. If there's a reversal in those 2 fortunes, then you're going to see then the Suns are going to take this series. But if it continues the way it is right now, Milwaukee's winning.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to take Chris Middleton cooling off, and it's going to take Chris Paul getting hot. So if those things happen, it's Phoenix. If they don't, Milwaukee is going to win it. I mean, Giannis is tough, man. If he's in a zone and he's determined to get to that rack, he's getting to that rack.
He's on. Yeah, nobody on Phoenix could stop him.
When Milwaukee's,
I saw this too much. I saw this as a Celtics fan a few years back. Man, he is
He dials in. You forget.
And the Celtics had a solid defense, man, and they had young stars that could play D as well, and they couldn't stop this guy, man. Even on the way to the rack, I'm talking even 20 feet out, they were having a hard time covering him. So now you're talking about he's in his own, man. I mean, this is, I don't know. What do you think? You guys think who do you think is going to win the series?
Oh man, this is tough. I think actually Milwaukee's going to win. I don't know. I would say 6. I think they're going to go into Phoenix tomorrow night and win, and then they're not going back to Phoenix for Game 7. I think Milwaukee's going to win this in 6.
I think I agree with Kyle. If they win Game 5, the series is over in 6.
Yeah,
they're hard to beat at home, man. They're very hard to beat at home.
Fear the deer.
I think Phoenix is winning in 7.
Yeah, they have to win. They have to win tomorrow night. Then
I don't see Middleton. I don't see Middleton continuing the streak. That dude is so streaky, man.
Yeah,
he is. No, he definitely is.
Storyline wise, I'd rather the Suns win because honestly, like if this doesn't work out for the Bucks, man, they're all in on their current roster. They can't really do anything after that. So if it don't work like this,
I don't mind if the Bucks win either though, because then it's validation for Giannis for signing that big contract.
Yeah, to stay in Milwaukee.
Yeah, part of me doesn't want that though. As a bitter Raptor fan,
Raptor fan.
Yeah, I want him to make the mistake, man. Fuck.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. That's the thing when you don't have a horse in the race. You just kind of you get to enjoy it and see how it all plays out.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. Wow, we've gotten to a place where Team USA is the not dream team.
Is that Jahlil Okafor?
That is Jahlil Okafor. I was just going to say that.
Yep. What the heck?
So they lost 2 exhibition games, one to Argentina and one to Nigeria. The Nigeria was the big stunner. As a pre-Olympic warm-up in Las Vegas? I think they were playing it.
I believe it was Las Vegas, yeah.
Yeah. But then they came out and absolutely destroyed us. They beat Argentina. Lost to Australia.
They lost to Australia, yeah.
But destroyed a pretty good Argentina team. So, I mean, these are just warm-ups. These guys haven't played together at all. It's not even their full roster yet, but it is concerning to see a Team USA lose to a Nigerian basketball team at any level.
Yeah, with just one NBA player, Al Farouk Aminu. I mean, they didn't have OG and Anobi to help them out, but it's not looking good for USA basketball, right? Like, it's never good to, I mean, it is an exhibition game, but it's never good to lose. They've lost Kevin Love today. They added the defensive stalwart
JaVale McGee.
All 19 minutes at a time. They added the guy from the Spurs.
Anything's an improvement over Kevin Love at this point.
I guess, but I mean, Kevin Love, he gets to play with some talented NBA players for the first time in a long time. So I would have thought that he would at least keep it together a little bit. But
he's got some mental health issues, so I wonder if that has something to do with it too.
He's too busy doing advertisements for Banana Republic.
Yeah, could be.
I mean, doesn't want to
his signature Banana Republic slacks.
You know what I've noticed with Team USA? Obviously, I know, like Jason said, they've just, or was it Leon? Maybe it was Leon. They just came together. Obviously, they haven't had time to practice with each other. And usually in past years with the Olympics going on, they usually get together at least 2 years in advance each summer to kind of get things together. So this team is kind of just thrown together. But one thing I noticed about Team USA is that when you compare them to these other countries are so, how can I say it? They're so much more advanced. I wouldn't say advanced, but they work so much better as a team when it comes to just playing the game of basketball. And I think that has a lot to, the world has caught up a lot when it comes to the sport of basketball. Obviously, USA still produces the best players, in my opinion, but the other countries have caught up significantly. I mean, you look who was the MVP this year: Jokic, Luka Doncic. I mean, you got so many guys from other countries who are just dominating the sport as well. So I think that matters as far as these teams from other countries are always playing together, as opposed to USA where they're just thrown together for the moment. So I think it can lead to struggling, but I would still think they would win the gold medal though.
Well, some of these smaller countries too, it's more tight knit, right? I mean,
yeah, tight knit. Like,
when
if you're good, you come up playing together.
You've come up playing together. And,
look at Spain's team. They've played together
forever.
Years. Yeah,
that chemistry changes stuff, man. It does,
Yeah,
and it does. The dream team, the original, the OG team with Jordan and Magic Johnson. I mean, they were so uber talented, it didn't matter. Chemistry be damned. That team wasn't going to be stopped, And I don't know, man. I don't know how much that team had an impact on worldwide basketball, but I'm pretty sure it was a large one.
Huge.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
That to me is probably what changed the trajectory of international basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while to develop the culture and to get to that place where you're delivering in a fashion like we are today. But I'm sure that dream team was very influential on international basketball, on that stage, those players, and it's not something that can instantaneously in 2 years change, but that was probably one of the driving moments that spurred on this change. And, listen, that basketball now is influenced basketball here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And this is a very unique year too, right? So the pandemic kind of pushed back, it pushed back the Olympics a year, right? All the Olympic qualifying stuff that was happening last year was happening this summer. So a lot of these guys are coming off a very short, this is their vacation time, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of guys have to get eliminated from the playoffs to even, want to do it. And then, we had the same thing with Canada where we could field a really good team, but if it's not good timing or if this guy's hurt or this guy has a contract,
It's just ridiculous. Like, remember back in the day where people this is something you wanted to be a part of.
To do exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's so annoying.
Yeah.
It's
we still have players that are still playing for their teams. Chris Middleton, Devin Booker.
Yeah. Andrew Holiday.
On this team.
Andrew Holiday. Yep.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have to struggle to put
a team together from
ridiculous.
The USA, it's crazy.
Well, you should. I mean, you guys could field 4 teams. Like, let's be honest, and make it, like an A team and a B team. But it's part of it. I don't know. It's just this year is just very different. I know Greece really needed even Giannis to make it to the Olympics, and they couldn't get it done without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, with Coach Pop, he'll get those guys playing. I know they only have 9 days to figure it out, 8 days maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not worried about it. We'll see what happens in their first knockout or stage game.
If they don't get it done, the excuse is already built in. Like, it's not going to be as shocking, right?
Yeah.
And if they steamrolled everyone and then lost, now if they lose, it's like, all right, whatever.
That would be crazy if they do.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on.
This fucking guy.
This guy might be the biggest asshole in sports.
I can't think of one bigger right now.
Young, humble Conor was a great guy to watch.
Before the hype.
This guy right now is almost indefensible. He's punched an old guy at the bar, sexual allegations. Now he's threatening to kill Dustin Poirier and his wife in their sleep.
And their kids.
And the kids? Okay, the kids got it too.
Yep.
Just no class. I don't know.
This reminds me, a guy I loved growing up was Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson? Mm-hmm. It's hard to watch him lose, right?
But at least Mike Tyson, I kind of like that dude. I'm not sure about Conor's upbringing to the same degree I am Mike Tyson's. I mean, Mike Tyson came from shit. I mean,
well, Conor did too.
Yeah, he was on welfare. He working class family. I think he used to be a plumber.
Okay. But I don't know if that I'm not.
I don't know
sure.
if that it doesn't compare.
I'm not sure
Mike Tyson's
it's the same life that Tyson had in Brownsville. But my deeper point is like, I don't know with Mike Tyson, I felt like if it just felt different because I almost felt bad for him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, these guys worked their whole life to get to where they are. And then you get to a certain level of fame, like it's got to be hard to, have that same drive. Are you, as willing to go wake up in the middle of the night or do the same training
Mm-hmm.
and fight for your life when you got all this money in the bank? I think the big turning point for him was Conor is the Mayweather fight. You act differently when he was doing a lot of like the talking and a lot of the showboating and whatever, and maybe took like a little bit of a Floyd Mayweather's style a little bit to just get people to talk about him or whatever. But then after, it's like you lose a lot of that when you're not a winner. Like, are people gonna be really fiending to watch you fight? Right?
This guy's at the end, right? I mean, come on.
Because after a while, all that talking, if you ain't producing, it's not gonna mean shit.
He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights.
Yeah.
And apparently his ankle was essentially broken before the fight. Yeah. And his trainer and him didn't tell anyone.
Well, he's never pulled out of a fight.
Well, I get it
with like a torn ACL.
That's fine, but you got to at least say, hey, there's a stress fracture here or something like that. I mean, I'm surprised the gamblers aren't knocking on his door. Right
crazy, now. Right?
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you know your foot is broken, why are you opening the fight with only kicks? Like, that's a little bit wild to me. Yeah. Like when he fought, I think it was like Max Holloway. No, he fought Max Holloway on like a torn MCL. He barely beat Max Holloway, but that fight, it was strictly boxing.
Mm-hmm.
If you know you have a stress fracture in your foot, what in the hell are you doing? Kicking all the time. Yeah, just a wild injury. Yeah.
I mean, there may be a strategy there. Maybe that was done on purpose. So, because if he didn't mix that in or start with that, maybe they would think there was something wrong with him. Who knows?
Maybe.
We don't know what's going through their head as they're kind of going through this stuff. But either way, like, I admire his toughness. That part I do admire. I admire his toughness. I mean, to go out there knowing that you're injured. I mean, listen, that takes a lot. It's not easy to do. Any of us who've had any sort of injury, think about
exactly.
Like we sometimes won't go to our job where we have to stand up every now and then, and then you got someone who's going to step into the ring. I think back to like Schilling with his like torn Achilles and other of the Kirk Gibson, like these heroic performances, right? And it takes a special kind of person to be in that respect to be able to do that, so that's admirable. The things that come out of his mouth, his bravado, it's either some sort of cover for some insecurities or, it's just, he's an asshole. It's something. I mean,
I think he's trying to sell the fight.
Yeah,
he's one of the best in contact sports at selling the fight.
Promotion, baby.
Yeah, maybe Mayweather. I just think with this fight, for whatever reason, he crossed that line and didn't keep it just between him and the fighter. He went after the fighter's family. He said he was going to kill Poirier as he's sitting there with a broken leg on the mat.
He said it leading up to it too.
He actually said it as he was sitting on the mat.
He said,
to his head. He said, listen, can I ask a question? Now, I don't want to justify what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay. But do you think, like,
the heat of the moment,
time you don't interview somebody?
Of course.
Yeah, this might not be the best time to interview someone.
You might say,
right.
Like, listen, I think you can listen. I've never sat there with my leg broken being interviewed after losing a fight, but I can imagine it's not the optimal position to be asked questions. And some things you don't listen, man. Everybody has something they're holding back, right? There's things people want to say that they say, all right, it's not the right thing to do, whatever. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that's going to get compromised when you're in pain is these like self-controls.
Yeah.
So I don't like what he said. I think it's disgusting. But I also don't like that the dude's sitting there after losing a fight with a broken bone, and he's being asked to answer these questions. Like, what did you expect to come out of this guy's mouth?
Yeah.
Like,
So
and Rogan's tried to make it a point not to interview guys that have just got knocked out. And technically this isn't a knockout, but it's regrettable. Nothing good came out of the interview. We barely understand him. He went full Irishman.
Yeah, but dude, you know what, dude? Fuck Joe Rogan for that, okay? So, like, at that point, we were talking about Conor and what he says and drawing a crowd of stuff. And then you got a guy dude, Joe Rogan's walking over to him, right? He knows
his leg is
broken. Knows that this is going to help him.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going to be right for Conor McGregor. This is what's going to help him and his product.
Mm-hmm. Maybe it was in the contract. Maybe it was in the contract that he had to interview.
Why? No, man. No. Like, with a broken leg and shit, you think they wrote that in there too? Listen, there's got to be a level of care that goes into this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you would expect a guy who already gets unhinged and says stupid shit. Now, all right, let me approach him with a broken leg, just lost a fight. He's a fucking mess. Let me walk over there and start asking him some questions and see what happens. Let's wind this toy up and see what happens. It's ridiculous.
The weird thing is the January fight. They had just fought in January. He was super humble. He took
he took his hot sauce.
Yeah, like Conor, for whatever he is, he usually takes his losses pretty damn good. When he lost to Nate Diaz, he took it okay. The Khabib thing, but this was full blown. Like, well, what the hell happened? Like, I don't know. I've been watching Conor for years, but this is definitely
Do you think do you think it was right for Joe Rogan to crawl over there?
No.
Sit next to him and start asking him all these questions with the
Joe
world
Rogan,
watching him after losing?
Joe Rogan can hear Conor's while he was interviewing Poirier, you could see Joe Rogan looking over. He's hearing the crazy shit that Conor's saying. Like, you should know not to interview him.
But let's think about this, right? A team loses the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What does the player have the opportunity to do once they lose that Super Bowl?
Exactly.
Go shower, clean up.
Walk off the field.
Exactly.
Compose themselves. Think about how they're going to say something.
Then they go to the podium.
Because what you're seeing at the podium is the rehearsed version in their head of how they should react to something. Nobody, now I'm not going to say nobody, ultra competitive people aren't going to do well in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
Yeah.
That doesn't excuse what he said.
No.
But it certainly suggests that Joe Rogan was a dick for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
A selfish one.
Maybe he was told to do it in his ear. Go get Conor. I don't know. Like, we don't know. That's all I'm saying.
Whoever did it.
Yeah. That's the UFC.
It's a shit decision.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. That means they don't give a shit about a guy who's made them money hand over fist.
Yeah.
They're just going to turn him into some sort of like little showpiece, a little circus act, a little prop in their little game.
The truth of the matter is, one of their stars had just broken their leg. They should be focused on getting him safety or whatever medical.
Yeah, so they can march him out there for fight number 4. So
we don't know if was impacted bones or it could be fragment. There's so many things that could happen. Like, I've never seen anything happen like that where he just threw a punch sideways and its leg broke. That's crazy.
That shows you this dude was legit. He's not a bullshit. Hurt. He was legit hurt walking in there.
Yeah. I mean, that outcome was the best thing that could have happened to him in the sense that he was going to lose that fight anyway. He was getting pieced up.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys think his career's over now or what?
There's not many fights left. There's not many fights left. Nate Diaz trilogy. That's about it.
Diaz, they'll fight.
He's not fighting Khabib again.
No, he could box up Jake Paul maybe.
Yeah, Khabib's done exactly. So,
but he'll fight. I mean, this fight didn't end like anybody wanted it to, so they'll fight again.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'm not in a rush to watch him fight Poirier again. Poirier's gonna fuck him up.
But Dana White already said they're fighting again.
Yeah, for sure. That's another payday.
Do the Nate Diaz fight, and then box up Jake Paul and call it a day.
Jake Paul, the
kids.
Paul,
Oh my
fuck
God.
them.
Dude,
both of them.
One of those guys was calling out fucking Saul Canelo.
Canelo, exactly. That was Jake Paul.
I want him to fight Canelo, so his Canelo can actually knock his head clean off his shoulders.
Breaks off of him.
Listen, boxing is not the sport you roll into after your little YouTube career.
Exactly.
Say,
after you knock out Nate Robinson.
These are people. You're getting in the ring with people that started this shit when they were 9. You know,
Exactly.
like, I mean, you're not gonna like come out of that death forest or whatever the hell it is he did. Remember that? That disgusting, I think it was him. That disgusting video he did. Was it him or his brother? I don't even know.
His brother.
Whatever, man.
I can't tell them apart.
I can't even tell those guys apart. Either way, man. Like it's not the kind of sport that you just roll into, man. Just ask Kimbo Slice. Like Kimbo Slice tried to go into a sport with that same mentality. And guy's ass handed to him left and right. Yeah. Boxing's no different. These people are trained to beat the shit out of you.
So far,
20 years longer.
Right. So far, all they've been doing is fighting either non-MMA or non-boxers like
this Ben Askren, right?
Or they've been basically
Little Nate Robinson
wrestlers and jiu-jitsu guys. So
poor boxing.
He fought Mayweather.
Mayweather
that was
wasn't
a terrible fight.
Yeah, Mayweather's a defensive boxer for one. He's retired for 2, and all he was doing was cashing a check.
That's it.
Mayweather would, if that were a real fight, that dude would have been done in 40 seconds.
Yeah. No, he should be charged with armed robbery for what they did and forced us to watch.
I didn't watch that. I didn't watch that mess.
Yeah.
Everybody that bought that fight should have been arrested for.
Dude, Floyd Mayweather, if that's a real legit fight, right?
Yeah,
defensive boxer or not, he's a boxer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Logan Paul, it would have destroyed him.
Mm-hmm.
It would take 40 seconds.
That's why I hope they actually piss off a real boxer and actually fight
and really fight a real boxer, exactly, and see what it's really like.
Yeah. Anyway, those clowns. I can't.
It's funny though, right? Like that you think you can just roll into a boxing ring. You know.
What's funny is the people that actually pay for those fights.
Yeah, that's the crazy part.
It's got me interested. I don't know, but
come on,
I do like their stance on fighters don't get paid enough and stuff. So
no, well, that's true. That's true because those guys. I mean, that was a Ben Askren that fought one of the Paul brothers.
Mm-hmm.
That he got, even though he got knocked out in like less than a minute, but that was probably his biggest pay that he ever had.
That was his biggest pay. And Ben Askren outside of UFC dominated 170 for a better part of 10 years.
Exactly. So
right. So I don't know. Maybe he got paid to take a dive, whatever. But
who knows?
You know, it's one of those things.
I know if they were fighting real boxers, that wouldn't happen.
Yeah, and we got the Woodley fight coming up. I'm interested to see how he does. We'll see. I don't know. He's got me watching. Whatever. I'm not paying for it, but allegedly.
Well, we can take this down. Wrap up if you guys are okay with that.
I'm fine with that.
Great news, Kyle. The Red Sox did beat the Yankees. That's what is that? What's the Red Sox record?
7 in a row.
0-7. Is it 7-0 against the Yankees this year?
Fucking Yankees. I told Aaron Judge make sure he takes care of himself in Colorado, but he didn't listen.
I bet you did.
He didn't listen.
Blue Jays are coming home.
Oh, that's right.
I can't wait till the Red Sox
at the Rogers Center.
I can't wait till the Red Sox get to play them in Toronto and beat the shit out of them there.
Come watch it firsthand. I think mid-August.
When are they gonna let people in?
Mid-August, I think.
Mid-August
is
what they're aiming for.
Yeah, that's what they're aiming for. They're allowing your people to come to my country.
Yeah, I haven't been to Toronto in about 3 years, so I want to go back up there.
Well, listen, guys, this was fun.
Good times.
It's time to wrap it up for the evening, though. It was a long night.
Getting late.
Long night. Star West Side, thank you again for always. Yeah.
It always feels people with us.
It always, dude, listen, man. We're building this, right?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
We're building this. This feels good to build. It feels good to build it with a new friend.
Thank you. You
know, I even can tolerate Jason this evening. You You know.
I thought we were done with this.
I thought
Oh,
we moved.
I meant I could probably tolerate Leon for a short period of time. But this was fun, guys. So for all you out there, please tune in. Help us out with this. If you have feedback, if you want to, share any topics or whatnot, we'd love to hear from you. Tomorrow we'll be back with this week in caps. We'll have keeper, sleepers, weepers on Sunday. Probably do a stock report at some point soon. And then I think we're gonna have a lot of stuff next week too. I'm sure.
We got special guest RHP tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Look, Mom, No Hands will be on tomorrow. He's gonna share something that he's been working on a little bit, which will be fun. Yeah. But with that, Leon, big fella, take us away.
Yeah, make sure you guys drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, check out Kyle at 3-2 Swinging Podcast. For Leon, Jason, Pierre, and Kyle, we out, guys. Stay fitted.